Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to PauperGeddon 2024, where we are in the top 4 players in the room. We started with 656 players. And over 2 days of magic, 12 rounds in the Swiss, plus the quarterfinals. Well, we've narrowed it down to these last 4. And we're going to be bringing you one of those matchups right now. First, I'm going to introduce myself, though. Well, my name is Will Hall, better known on the internet as the Will Hall EXP. And this man to my right, that is Mr. PauperGeddon. And this is the last round from us for today. So we want to thank you all for being here. And hopefully we're going to give you an absolutely amazing top 4 performance right now. So the first 2 decks that we're going to see today is going to be...
Affinity, Grixis Affinity.
You did say, you called this. You think you're going to take this down. PauperGeddon in the last 2 years has been won by Affinity. Is it going to happen for a 3rd time? What's it up against?
It's up against Grixis, so red, black, madness, splashing blue for the new fairy, the Sneaky Snacker.
Sneaky Snacker, indeed. It is a very good card. Went under the radar for the panel. They spoke about that yesterday after round 7. If you missed the panel talk, I very much think you should go back and watch it on the VODs. It will probably turn up on the YouTubes as well, let's be honest. But we're going to see this blood fountain come down, generate a blood token, and passing the turn back. What are these opening turns going to look like for both of these players? Let's start up over on the Rakdos Madness side. What's one of their best openers that they can do?
I think starting with a creature or a Faithless Looting on turn 1 is great. But also I think this is the best tapped land because, as you mentioned, you commit a crime because you deal 1 damage.
And you can bounce it like that.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's big. That's a big gamer because it's already 2 damage dealt, basically doing nothing, just playing your lands. While Affinity, I think, is just setting up his mana and developing a strategy. As always, like Affinity used to take the control role in the matchup and trying to probably find the other removals or critical mass of artifacts to start to apply pressure with the Affinity cards.
Okay, question for you and for you, chat. How many Sneaky Snackers are we going to see this game?
I think 2.
2? For the whole map, over 2 or 3 matches?
No. I think probably 10.
10?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to keep a little track of that. This is going to be my Sneaky Snack account here in between these 2 lines. Chat, let me know how many we're going to see. 13 is the first number I see in the chat, and unlucky 13 for some as we start, drawing 2, discard a card. Do discard a card, it is going to be the Kitchen Imp. That is going to eat some Galvanic Blast, not Fire Blast, completely different card.
Yeah.
And we're going to pass the turn back, missing on the... we didn't miss a land drop that one, did we? No, we've still got the Crime land in hand. But these 1 mana, draw 2s, forecast, great card.
Yeah, I think the Grixis Affinity deck tends to play 14 cards that draws 2.
14 cards.
Maybe a bit more,
2.
like between...
But Pauper's full of commons.
Yeah.
There's not many do powerful things like that.
No.
1 mana, draw 2s.
Yeah.
Seems pretty good. And are we going to do anything else? Are we going to get Familiar down? No, we're going to go for... Okay, how does this work? How does Exile in the Graveyard with Madness work? Does it hit the graveyard and then you cast it, or does it never touch the graveyard and you can exile it in response?
It never touches the graveyard because the spell goes in exile and then you cast from the exile with Madness Cost. So something like the Artifact Jailer would stop them, but or Drained Magistrate, for example, the commander card, but you don't interact with the graveyard. So I think Spellbomb is one of the cards that doesn't really matter. But now that Sneaky Snacker is a contender, I think the Spellbomb is a good protection that it stays on the battlefield until something troublesome happens.
Until you either need to draw that vital card, or as you say, Sneaky Snackers go in there, Faithless Loot and start filling up in that graveyard, and you want to try and get a little bit of value and stop this Madness deck, because that is the game plan right now, right? We've got to stop the Madness deck. It is so explosive, can do damage out of nowhere. Yes, because it's discarding cards, you think, okay, they're losing card value. Actually, it utilizes that to its advantage. As we're going to see another Vampire come down here. No point of damage dealt. Another blood token added to the battlefield. Of course, blood tokens are tap, pay 1, discard a card, draw a card.
Yeah, I think like the red-black deck can really start to ping the control decks in general, and that's a very good way to win because you start to deal small chunks of damage, and then when the control decks start to play a payoff, like we saw the Jeskai decks, like they can play a 4 mana Murmuring Mystic or something like that, then you jam 12 damage to them.
But we're going to see a Vampire's Kiss being cast there, so that is going to be 2 life Lost by our opponent, 2 life gained by ourselves, and a blood token made. One thing I do want to point out, Refurbished Familiar. Very good in these Grixis affinity lists.
Yes.
Well, one of the new cards from MH3, seen a lot of play this weekend. ETB makes my opponent discard a card. Not great in this matchup.
No, absolutely. First, because it's an enabler, so your opponent can always keep 1 or 2 mana open and play around that. But also, it's very good if you made your opponent discard a Sneaky Snacker because it can return immediately. So I think you probably have to keep it because it's a card that apply pressure and it's a good flyer. But you are never happy to cast it like when your opponent has mana up.
Okay, well, we're going to go... we cracked our first spell bomb because we had a second one in hand. We also played a Blood Fountain, and then the follow-up was a Mirror Enforcer. So we now have the 4/4 on the battlefield. Of course, 4/4 is very good. We don't have to use any mana to cast them. It's going to be able to be a nice wall in the face of these 2 1/1 vampires we've got on the other side. But maybe we have to go to the skies. Maybe we need to get some kitchen imps in, or maybe we're just going to have enough reach in general. Of course, one of those lands does produce 2 as well. So we do have access to 4 mana currently this turn. And we haven't really used too many resources yet. Yep. So maybe we're trying to get them as much chip damages in as we can early. And then the second the shields are down, we're just going to start reguarding, blasting to face, doing all the other different free damage spells that we've got in this deck. Because there is a lot of them, especially when we start discarding and potentially trying to finish this game in one big sweep.
But also we have to remember that the Grixis Affinity deck plays Recognized Bargain, so you can sacrifice your Mirror Enforcer to gain 7 life. So that's an incredible tempo swing, and it can really catches the Rectum Spender players off guard. So it's always tough when Grixis Affinity is holding up to mana, because it's either representing counter magic or gain 7.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That there is that instant speed wave right now to gain 7 life if it is in hand, of course, and if not, we can still bluff it, and maybe our opponent will make a suboptimal play in the face that it might actually be able to catch them off guard. Here we go. We're gonna just discard a card, draw 2. We're cracking the blood. Sorry.
That's actually great because you just drew 2. That's basically a 2 mana divination because you created a lot of blood without cards that also that damage, so it was kind of free.
We'll play another one of these lands that enter the battlefield, do a point of damage. So opponent drop into 11. We're paying 2 mana here. I'm not telling you what for sure. Oh, okay, it's for another Vampire's Kiss. So that's going to be more blood tokens made, more life drained and gained.
Yeah, like this deck, this Rakdos Madness deck is commonly known as an aggro deck.
I like this attack. Sorry, I really like this attack. I like getting 8's an optimal life for me to be able to burn you out with 2 Galvanic Blasts. 9 isn't, so I'm happy to kind of sacrifice it here in the face of it.
Yeah, also I think that the Affinity player is probably willing to develop his board even more. So attacking is probably right. Also because you're at 24, so the possibility of getting burned out is not really likely. And there we see...
a sneaky snacker getting discarded to the familiar. Like, sure, you got me. Oh, no, this goes into my graveyard. We might be seeing that coming out momentarily when we get to untap with some of our mana. This is going to be one of the more reoccurring threats. You'll see that the sneaky snacker's mana is 1 black, 1 blue. And you'll notice a lot of our mana is just red and black. But it has that added text. If you have drawn 3 cards or more for the turn, it will return out of the graveyard. And when you're doing a lot of cycling, a lot of 2 mana, discard 1, draw 2s, as well as your draw step, that is going to be the 3 cards you need to get it back out of your graveyard. Works really well in multiples.
Yeah. Also, you tend to play Faithless Looting on turn 1 or 2, and when you flashback it, maybe later in the game, you have these recurring cards, and those are flyers, so the format is not really wide on flyers, so you usually tend to connect a couple of times.
Well, we've just drawn 2 cards. That is going to be enough for our Sneaker Snacker. While it is on the stack, we're going to sacrifice this Spell Bomb. We're going to pay the black mana, but shields are down. No black mana currently. Oh no, is that one produces black mana? Does it? Was that red?
No, that's that's black.
Okay. I was going to say if the shields are down with black mana, that means that we haven't got a response to be able to gain life at instant speed. So potentially some Galvanic Blasts could do a lot of damage here. I can see a mountain in hand. We've probably got enough mana. Maybe we'll see that get cycled away with a blood token here.
Faithless Looting. Okay.
How many players are attending in total? So Friday we kicked off with 124 players on the top Pauper player, as well as 120 players in the a backup event that we had, a side event that was going on, both Pauper. Yesterday we started with 656 players turned up in the room to battle it out. We've whittled them down to 143. There's a 200-person what we call now RCQ happening that's modern as well in the background. There's been so many different side events throughout the whole weekend. There have been multiple different eternal formats. You can win cases of beer that has been brewed specifically for PauperGeddon, as well as all the other rebound events. And on top of all that, there's I think every second there seems to be an MH3 draft being fired, which is really cool to see, seeing all these cards getting opened and the cool stories that people are having with that. As the vampire gets turned sideways, it's going to get blocked with the refurbished Familiar, of course, one of the MH3 All-Stars that we're seeing move into this Pauper format.
Yeah, I think the fact that Familiar is in the graveyard is also fine for Cecchini, because you can record it with Blood Fountain. So Blood Fountain really plays it's really a huge gamer because it can record creatures and creatures.
Yeah, the synergy of just cracking the Blood Fountain, as you say, bringing back 2 creatures. And if they're both familiars, when they enter the battlefield, you're generating more value, and then they die, and you bring them back again and value in. And that's one of the big engines that we tend to see in these Grixis lists, and that's why we see one of them here now in the top 4.
Yeah.
Only one match away from getting into the finals and potentially taking down PauperGeddon again. For everybody that's not informed, PauperGeddon, the last 2, has been won by Affinity decks.
Yeah, different flavors of Affinity, because the last one was... actually, the last one in Pisa, it was with glitter. Sorry, Rome. In Rome, it was glitter. In Pisa, it was the Grixis we see now, but with Frogmite. Now we have better Frogmite.
So we've got end of turn right now. We're going to sacrifice, gain 7 life. Or is this main phase? Are we doing this? Oh, main phase, gaining 7 life. No Galvanic Blasts in response because we've only got 1 red mana, and then we're able to cast the Familiar as well as the Mirror Enforcer again after returning them to our hand. But the ETB does make us discard a card, and we have 2 mana up, so there's a good chance we're going to discard something and gain some value from it. Well, or we just got them out and get no value.
So seems like the bargain line we mentioned before was actually performed, because of course being at 8 means you aren't dead by any combination of spell ordered by black land and red land. So it just gained 7 back, go back to 15. 15 is an ulti-life total, especially if now you can develop your pressure. And then now it's time to Rectus Madness to see if you can do something, or just stumble and maybe losing this game to this pressure. Because Mirror Enforcer is a strange card because it blocks his attacks, it also gains life, it's cost 0.
Faithless Looting on the stack. So we're going to draw 2, discard 2. All-Star, banned in Modern. Unintentionally, I think it died for Hodak's sins, but here we are. But we're going to be discarding 2 Madness spells. This is going to be 6 damage going to the Dome. 3 life gained for ourselves. That means that Grixis Affinity is going to be dropping to 9. Are we able to close it out this turn while the shields are down? It doesn't look likely on the 2 mana that we've got open. No, we just have to pass the turn back. So I was asking, you missed the top 8? Well, we're in the top 4 right now. So the top 4 decks currently at the minute is the 2 you see on the screen, Grixis Affinity and Rakdos Madness. Also Wolves, and then I'm still trying to find out what is going to be up against, who won our other quarterfinals. That's being played out currently. Maybe you can find out for me, production, what's the other semi-finals going to be.
I think it's versus Ponza again, because I saw the Ponza guy Giorgio winning.
Oh, okay. So you think it's going to be Wool versus Ponza?
I think so.
Well, we'll get confirmation of that.
Venditti is on top 4 with Wolves.
The top 8. While the players are going through this, a bit of damage is getting turned sideways here. We're going to attack for 6, play another Familiar, another ETB, another discard's going to happen. We had Affinity, Wolves, Goblin combo, Rakdos Madness. What's that?
Kuldota, mono red.
Oh, is that mono red?
Yep.
Okay, mono. Is that how you say mono red in Italian?
No, Kuldota is Kuldota Rebirth, so the card that you sacrifice an artifact and play 3 Goblin.
Oh, okay.
It's good to different because there is another mono red deck that plays only burn spells.
Oh, mono red burn. Yeah, sure. I got you. Ponza and Glee. And then we had another, that was on 30 points. We had 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people missed out on breakers. Actually missing out on 0.02% of breakers to get into that top 8. That's pretty brutal. But it happens. That's Magic the Gathering. Someone has to come 9th place. What we're going to do, we're going to be flashing back this Faithless Looting from the graveyard. So we're going to be drawing 2 more cards, discarding 2 more cards. Hopefully they're going to have Madness, and hopefully they're going to be able to do 3 points of damage each, and there is no more life gain on the other side. One of them is going to be a Sneaky Snacker, the other is going to be a land. So we have drawn 3 cards for the turn, so that Sneaky Snacker should come back, or does it not recognize it because it's not in the graveyard at that point?
It's not in the graveyard. It's not like Arclight Phoenix that has a trigger in a certain phase, but it has to be in the graveyard when you draw your 3rd card.
Makes sense. Cool. I like it. So what if we drew another 3 now? Would it recognize it?
No, because it's not your 3rd, it's your 4th, etc.
Got you.
It has to be the 3rd.
So we might see it next turn.
Maybe.
But might be a little bit too late here because now we've got a bunch of flying blockers if needs be. But we're turning everything sideways. This is going to be 8-point damage, dropping down to 5. If we got Galvanic Blast, which is just seemed to be doing so much work this weekend. Everybody gets like in that sort of 4 to 8 range of life points. You've got to be scared of seeing these come down. As we see another Enforcer coming down, a completely free 4/4. Lethal on the battlefield, have to win the game this turn. Both players on 5. It's coming down to a knife edge here in game number 1.
Yeah, I'm very tense.
Galvanic Blast to the face. Ping you for 1. Is there a way to gain life in response? I think we had a Galvanic Blast in hand and we were 1 damage short. I think Rakdos Madness was able to take down that game 1 there.
Yeah, like I wanted to mention that the fact that Rakdos Madness can gain some life with Arms of the Vein, so he gained back 6 life, was a huge contender here. Was probably the amount of life that let him win.
Well, Vampire's Kiss, we gained what, 4 life over that turn?
3 life.
Oh, and 3 from that. So we gained Vampire's Kiss gained us 2 plus 2 plus 3, so we actually gained 7 life that turn.
Yeah, exactly.
If we didn't do that, we would have been dead. But moving on to sideboards, because there was still a lot to play. At the minute, 0 Sneaky Snackers, just saying. 0 Sneaky Snackers. None of it at the battlefield. Sure. None of it at the battlefield. Oh, so it looks like it was Mono Red that got in, not Ponza. So we're going to see Wolves versus Mono Red in our other semi-finals. The winner of that, of course, will be battling out against the winner of this matchup in the finals. They'll be calling themselves PauperGeddon 2024 champion. Moving on to the sideboards here, we've got, I'm going to sing some cards off to you. You tell me if you think they will be good in this matchup or not. We've got some, and this is from the Madness side. We got Nara Spell Bombs. Do you like them?
I don't think so.
Not even though we saw a bit of recursion there, plus there's Sneaky Snackers?
Maybe you want 1 or 2. It depends on how many cards you want to cut.
Goblin Shaman. Goblin Shaman. What am I talking about? Gorilla Shaman.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep. We've got Contaminated Ground. 3 copies for everybody that's not aware of what this is. It's 1 and 1 black. Enchant target land. Enchanted land is a swamp, and whenever it becomes tapped, its controller loses 2 life. Is this the matchup for it?
I don't think so. No.
Or do I? What about Smash the Smithereens?
Yeah, that's kind of obvious.
4 copies in the deck, and you can even target the instructed ones. They still take damage, right?
Yeah, I think you just read the artifacts in your sideboard card and you just smash them in.
Literally smash them in. I love it. And then we've got a
Trespasser Curse.
Trespasser Curse. I really need to get my glasses out, don't I? My eyes are not what they used to be. Do you like that in this matchup?
I don't think so, no. But that's a very, very sweet touch, I have to say.
Yeah, like it's a little bit of incremental life gain as well as life damage just dripping. If you've got these long, slow control decks and just every turn they're just chipping away 1 point of damage, adds up, especially if you've got a lot of burn spells that we see here.
Also, like it's great versus combo because Goblin combo can't combo through that. And also
why can't it combo through that?
Because each time your creature, I enchant you, and each time your Putrid Imp gets back into the table, you lose 1.
Oh, that's sweet. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
I think that's the reason why it's there.
So I don't have the list here in front of me for some reason, but let's talk through generically what we can see over on the Grixis side. We're going to probably have some sort of blue Elemental Blast or Pyro Blast. Imagine 4 copies, if not more, between the 2 names there. That's a hard snap coming in, right? Definitely want them.
Yeah.
Do we want anything along the lines of like gorilla shamans? Is that a thing here? Do we want maybe some more like spell bombs if we've got access to them? Would we want things like negate or even breath weapon?
I'm not sure if breath weapon is a thing. Maybe the rest is probably negate and blue elemental blast.
All right.
Yeah,
we'll see what comes in. Obviously, there's a lot of spells because once we're with madness. In fact, while we've got a little bit of time, talk to the people at home. What is the madness mechanic? How are we taking advantage of that as well in the Rakdos deck?
so it's a mechanic from Innistrad, if I recall correct. So you can when a card with madness is discarded, you can exile it and you can cast it for its madness cost. You can do this in any time you can cast an instant. So it's an instant speed mechanic.
Even if the spell I'm discarding with madness is a sorcery or even a creature, if I discard it, I can cast it instant speed with madness.
Yes.
Cool.
And so basically, the Rakdos Madness deck tries to take advantage of this. So you play a lot of cards that draws 2 cards and discard 2, or the opposite, so just discard card and draw cards, like the blood. And you basically are drawing while casting your spells. So it's a card advantage burn deck, I'd say.
It is real card advantage. Normally, like to pay for looting, you're going to draw 2 discard 2. You basically kind of, you're not getting any advantage of anything. You're putting 3 cards in the graveyard that turn for the 2 that you're adding to your hand. But in this sort of deck, every time someone goes to the graveyard, we can utilize that with the madness spells. So now I'm drawing 2 as well as doing, like, let's say 6 damage to your face, having 2 effects on that same turn. And all the madness cards in this deck are 1, I believe. So, if I discard anything, everything's always going to cost me 1 mana. I've got 1 black or 1 red. So, again, real low mana value to it. Even, fire attempt. I don't think there's anything that's 2. Let me have a little look at
list. Someone in chat corrected me because the mechanic was from Torment was very, very old. Sorry. I started to play Magic.
You're a Zoomer. We get it.
I
get it.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you, but thank you for pointing it out.
Chat doesn't let you get away with nothing ever.
I love chat. Thank you.
Yeah, we love chat. And we're very thankful for you all being here, supporting us over the last 3 days. But to go one further, we would love to see you here at a PauperGeddon, maybe even a Damnation, which is one of the next events we've got coming up. If you like Legacy and Modern, well, there's going to be a lot of it played that weekend as well. And then maybe if you can't make it, here to Pisa, you want to watch it, well, make sure you hit the follow button on this channel. Go follow Boose MTG on all the social medias you possibly can. That's their logo there above us. If you want to know the spelling of it, go and follow them. And then you'll be up to date on every time we either go live or an event happens, what cool side events there are going to be. But this is an event by the players for the players. The entry in is cheap. The prizes are high. The food is great. The atmosphere is great. Everybody's here because they love the gathering part of Magic the Gathering. So I really do think that everyone should come out to this. If I can come from the UK, anybody can come from anywhere around the world.
Yeah. We have even some Americans.
We've got Gavin Verhey in the room, who's actually going to be here in the booth for the finals, ladies and gentlemen. So you don't want to miss that. Gavin Verhey, of course, loved personality in the MTG community, works on the Wizards for Wizards of the Coast, is not the leader, but let's say the Captain America of the Pauper panel. He assembled them all together. And, he'll be able to answer your questions in chat as well as giving you his expert opinion on the format as both players are off to the races. And we see a turn 2 refurbished Familiar.
Yeah, there we go.
And we're going to discard a Faithless Luton for that.
Yeah, so I don't think refurbished Familiar is so good in versus this matchup than in any other matchup. But of course, it's still a turn 2 very strong play. It's a flyer. You can still start to apply pressure. I think the affinity deck, I can't, I'm very.
Oh no. Okay, we got this, the Gorilla Shaman coming down. Of course, this is XX1, destroy target artifact. So if you just pay the 1 mana, and as a land has no mana cost, that means 1 mana, destroy target land. Unless it's got indestructible, which there's a lot of them floating around in this format. But it must be nice to just, for 2 mana, we get a 1/1 on the battlefield as well as a way to destroy a land. And now any future land that come down that aren't indestructible, we aren't going to be able to, aren't going to be sat around for much longer. So that's going to really affect the Grixis affinity side here.
Yeah, the Gorilla Shaman is a huge pain on turn 1, to be honest, because later in the turns is not so great, but on turn 1 really denies your development. Ooh.
It's getting worse and worse as we see a Smash to Smithereens on the stack. Point at that cauldron, How many times am I going to call it Cauldron
Refurbished.
Familiar? Refurbished Familiar.
Yeah.
Cauldron Familiar is legal in this format, not seen play in this deck. Just yet. You never know. And then the follow-up is
Maybe
going to be
they will
Vampire.
print some other food, and you can.
Maybe that's just a deck that no one's tapped into yet. Gavin managed to do really well. I think he went 8-2 and 1, 8-3 and 1, something along those lines. With his take on Mardu, like he just mashed 2 decks together. Maybe that's what we need to do to get this Cauldron Familiar seeing a little bit of play.
I think there is a player in my league that plays that with Lambas and food enablers, Candy Trail.
I was about to say, it was really weird, like the interactions that was happening there, and I was like, okay, we actually we're going to sacrifice our land before it is being able to be targeted by the shaman on the other side. Get a treasure token, and we kind of played a lot of our spells really quickly there. But in the way it was going to end is with an enforcer on the battlefield, but it is not sticking around for much longer because another Smash the Smithereens is going to smash it off the battlefield, do another 3 points to face, and then we get to turn both our creatures sideways. We're already at 8, and with my opponent just at 2 lands on the battlefield. Can we add more to this? We're going to destroy that blood token. Why not? We've got the spare mana up. Let's fire it off.
Yeah, I think seeing the sideboard cards in time is really a big gamer for the Rakdos Madness deck.
Is this going to be it? Is this the time, the PauperGeddon, that we do not see an affinity list taking it down? It is not looking good for any affinity fans in chat right now. No, it is not. That is the handshake. We're going to see Rakdos mid-range in the final, and that's one of the downsides of playing affinity, right? Like there is just so many sideboard cards that can absolutely house your deck, and we see that there in Grella Shaman. Great one. Well, realistically, the MVP there was the Smash to Smithereens twice.
Was great because it denies the pressure and also like just free more damage.
I have no idea what that says.
Humility.
Is that a team?
No, it's just a word.
Okay.
Is that a team? Okay. Is that a joke with the community then?
It's a joke with the community. Cool. Right. I don't know what that joke is. I don't even know what that says. I am very much an Englishman and I can barely read English, let's be honest. Barely talk it as well. But welcome back to the booth, Will Hall. That is Pi Gonti. Yep. I don't think we're going to be moving the other match across, but we can just check to make sure that there's no plans for that to happen. Because if it is, this is our last round, my friend. It's been an awesome weekend of casting Magic, but there's still one more round to come when we move to that finals where Gavin Verhey is going to be in the booth. I'm not sure who's going to be in the booth with him, but I know Gavin's going to be in the booth.
Probably Mirko, I think.
Yeah, Mirko.
Small Pauper panel.
Are they both doing it? Oh, we might as well get Emma in here as well. Might as well go do a freeway.
But you will see.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting nevertheless. So, while we kind of work out what's going to happen in the background, have we got a favourite moment so far from this weekend leading up to this final? Is there any cool plays you've seen? Any decks that you've gone, that is incredible?
Well, I think Giorgio's Vendito Winen in, so he was playing the underdog deck in the matchup. So he was playing Red Green Pawns against the Wolves combo, and where turn to Thermocast, turn 3 Thermocast, turn 4 initiative. That very straight start was incredible for me.
It's weird that you say that because that's also my pick of like highlight. Just watching, I was like, that was so good, but it was just like boom, 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 and it was just scoop it all up. Also, I liked we wasn't on the broadcast for the round, but I was sat out in the hall. Which, by the way, I need to set this up for people that are looking to come to these events. The main hall next door has got 3 projectors. One at the far side of the room, that's got the clock on. 2 on the near side of the room where all the vendors are and the artists. And on there, they're literally projecting what you are seeing at home right now. They've got the Twitch stream on. Obviously, it's on mute to not annoy everybody. But what they do have playing in the background is Lord of the Rings music. And they've had it on for 3 days straight now. And I love it. Every time I'm walking around and the Gondor music kicks off, you're like... You just sit up a little bit further in your chair. It's really, really cool to see again another little great added touch here. It's not enough to kind of be distracting, but it's nice to just have that little music in the background.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm being told we are moving that other semi-final to the table. So we are going to have some more Magic this round. This isn't going to be the end of me and you just yet. Everyone gets a little bit more squeeze. They get a little bit more blood out of me and you, literally. But it's fine. I'm more than happy for that. Let me know how you're getting on, chat. Let's where we are. And in fact, chat, let me know where you're watching from right now. You know what I mean? If you're close to us, potentially you could come to it. But Twitch, great thing about it, everybody from around the world is coming across. Who do you want to win as well in the semis that we're about to see, where we've got Wolves versus Mono Red? Who are you going to pick? Let's see. 1's in chat for the Wolves deck, 2's in chat for the Mono Red. Which side do you think is going to be able to take us down?
I don't know. Like each time I cheer against the Red Green, it seems like it tends to win. So I don't know. I think Mono Red should be favored.
Okay,
but who knows at this point?
I feel like I would go Mono Red. Like, I've just seen it do some crazy things this weekend. Super explosive. It literally has access to Goblin Guide Plus. It's got a better Goblin Guide in it. Okay, I'm seeing a couple of 2s, couple of 1s. I'm seeing some people from France. New York. Oh, there's a nice event happening in New York this weekend.
Well,
Mono Red. Brazil. Okay, we got some Brazilians in chat. Portugal. They're going to be happy with the win yesterday. That in the football. Obviously, the Euros are on for everybody outside of Europe. There's a big football tournament happening. England not doing so well, even though we are top of a group, but that's a different story. Glee Combo did not win. That is not in our top 4.
That was my prediction for PauperGeddon. I said the deck would do top 8 yesterday, that they said the deck would win. But sadly, it didn't happen. But I think
it put up a good performance. You know what I mean? It's very much in its early stages. A lot more adaptations can happen for that. A lot more eyes will now get on it. So a lot more improvements will be made on it. So maybe we will see it taken down 2025 as PauperGeddon.
So are you saying that the deck needs to adapt?
It didn't win, so yeah. Every time. If it doesn't win, you got to adapt the deck. Also, I need to get your 4 copies off you because you've now got 8 copies.
Yeah.
I need to take 4 copies off you before I leave today because I also want to pick that deck up. I think that's it's a really sweet deck going forward.
Yeah, I think by the way we are seeing Mono Red versus Red Green Ponza, not Walls.
Not Walls.
Yeah, I think.
I've got Walls combo here.
But Vendit is playing Ponza. I'm 100% sure because we saw in the previous turn.
Do you know what? Let's just find out the hard way. When we get down to the match, we'll find out. We don't know what's going on in the Discord right now. We'll try and work out what exactly that's going to be. But when it does kick off, we'll move straight down to it. No matter what it is going to be the Pauper format, which I have personally fallen in love with over the last 4 weeks, testing for these events and trying to learn the format. It is so cool, so balanced, and everybody should pick this up. If you're like me and you're like, oh no, I only play competitive formats, I only play modern, I only play legacy, blah, blah, blah. This format is competitive and it is broken in some aspects, but it's still the most balanced format I've ever picked up. Everything looks so cool, so synergy. And anything, I think you get better at Magic by playing Pauper.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not just there isn't a I win button. You have to set up, you have to literally win by 1,000 cuts. And if you get good at Pauper, you're going to get better at other formats. And then eventually, maybe you can find yourself on the Pro Tour. We can get in the Worlds.
Actually, you can go to the Pro Tour by playing Pauper if you win the showcase. And then you win your showcase challenge. So
strong. So if you get really good at Pauper and take down that, you'll be able to get yourself on the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
Sick. Chances of Pro Tour being Pauper, not so high. but maybe if we do, if more people pick up Pauper and it takes off around the world even more, if we double what we've got now, maybe Wizards will see that and maybe they will pit like an RC season on of it being Pauper. But let's start. We're moving down to our match. So Goblins combo versus Ponza. So don't listen to any words that we said before this, but here we go. Ponza on the draw. Is this 0-0 currently, or is one of them a game up? They are 0-0.
Ooh.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, so we are starting from scratch here. Who do you think's favored in this one? Boom.
I mean,
okay.
I guess the player who casted Tarmacast on the duel.
On the queue. Who's favored? Blow up their land. Sweet.
The bounce land,
Yeah, exactly.
It's double time mode.
It feels so much worse when it happens like that. Okay, we're going to follow it out.
I mean, Giorgio today is on fire.
Absolutely. When they run hot, they run hot. And then no lands. Pass the turn. Are we going to follow this up with a powerful, what have we got? We can get a 7 drop down this turn. We get a 6 drop down this turn. 5 drops. We just need one of them in our hand right now. That might be enough just to, for the concession, and we go to a game 2. I said that, like death by 1,000 cuts. You've got to think all these turns in advance. Well, not so much right now. Hold on, what? Oh, we're acid mossing our own creature, our own land, to go to get ourselves a red source.
Nice.
Or we're really flexing on our opponent that's got no lands. We're like, oh, you've got no lands, but I'm going to destroy mine for fun, and we're going to get in there for 1 point of damage. That makes me think that we've got boarding pie in our hand.
I think so. Or Chrysalis, one of the two. But yeah, I think he really needs to develop the red mana. And I don't know. I don't like to call games over when they aren't, but this game seems...
Or did I? Like, this is one thing I've learned in my casting career, right? And this is Corey Baumeister, shout out to him, taught me this. Said, you just need to call it how you see it. I used to do that.
Sure.
I would never call it. Like, right now, you'd be like, oh no, maybe they'll get back into it with the no lands in play and really far behind on board. Sometimes you just got to call it. This game is over. It's just going to take us a few turns to get that done. It is going to need an absolute miracle over on the Goblins combo side to be able to win this game. I'm not saying that it's out of the possibility. I'm just thinking I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, I do think we're going to go, especially missing more land drops, having to go to discard. We've now got 5 power on the battlefield, and it might just keep getting worse depending on what is in hand for our Ponza player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sacrifice. Add 1 mana. Add a +1/+1 counter. Do it again. This is now going to be a 4/5 Chrysalis on the battlefield. We're now tapping 7. We're now going to go cascading as a big dinosaur comes down. What is this going to hit? We're on an absolute tear at the minute. They're just talking about the mana.
Checking about the mana.
Forest. Okay, well, how about let's refill? Let's go find ourselves. Let's look at the top 4. Put a permanent into our hand. See another Chrysalis. See another boarding party. I think I see another dinosaur there. I would take the boarding party here, purely because it's got haste here, right?
I think it's lethal next turn, right? Because it's 5.
5, it's going to drop down to 13, and then we've got 11 on the battlefield, plus the 6 is going to be haste. Yeah, we're going to game 2. Like, I'm calling it. That's it. Cast a call. If somehow you can win from here with no permanence, I'll be impressed. Like, poor, like I was going to say something ridiculous there, but I'm not going to say it on the internet because they'll make sure it happens. But yes, I'm pretty sure we're going to.
I think there are some decks in Pauper that can win from this spot, like cycling combo. You know.
Yeah, I suppose if
land beta ritual, yeah.
Cycle Storm, if their graveyard's big enough at this spot that they would be able to cycle off, generate a lot of mana. Okay, yeah, okay, I'll give you that one. I think that it would need some perfects to happen to go off, but that is also one of my favorite decks in Pauper. Mm-hmm. I'm not very good at it, but I do enjoy picking it up and trying to play. And I think again, the more time I spend on playing that deck, the better I will become with it. As we go to other sideboards, that was very one-side Ponza doing Ponza things, destroying the land or turn. Destroying the bounce land, then destroying the follow-up land, and then adding threats. Yeah, exactly how Pauper wrote it up. So, I don't have the access to their deck list here, so talk to me about the generic cards that we could see in the Goblin combo list. What could they be bringing in here that's good against the Ponza decks?
I'm not 100% sure. I think they are just trying to bring in some creatures, like Crackle Shaman is very good.
Yep.
Because it can...
Why is that good?
Because you play a lot of artifact, then that when they sacrifice, they draws you a card or just lands.
Yep.
And Crackle and Shaman is good at solving the board before you go off sometimes, or even just removing pressure from the board. And I think maybe play some ways to deal with small creatures.
Yeah, I suppose you can deal with the Sirens, I guess, but you could also shoot a Terran Elf because we are going to be on the play now on the Goblin combo side. Mm-hmm. What is the earliest Goblin combos can combo off on? Turn 2, turn 3, turn 4?
I think the earliest is on turn 3.
Is that the best way for them to win this game? Are they gonna? They're not going to win a mid to late game. They need to win through combo. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah. Also because. I would try to set up my combo, and when my opponent taps out, I win. Because we saw that this particular list of Ponza by Giorgio Venditti is playing Lightning Bolts in the sideboard. We saw Lightning Bolt being a very strong card in the previous matches versus Walls. Yep. It was versus Walls twice, and Walls is a bad matchup for Ponza usually. So Lightning Bolts in the sideboard was like the full playset of Lightning Bolt was great because usually Ponza doesn't play interactions.
Yeah, well, so going over the sideboard here, we've got 2 Gorilla Shamans, 4 Lightning Bolts, 4 to Glamour, 2 Breath Weapons, and 3 Nylea's Disciples. And so you think just the bolts coming in here?
I think, I'm not sure. I think the Glamour might be fine because your opponent plays indestructible lands. They play a playset of those. Okay. And also they play other artifact lands. So I think you can cut the 4 mana Novely Acid Moss to play the Glamours. I think they are better. And also Breath Weapon is very, very strong because it's an instant speed wrath board and then you can pass because I think the Goblin combo can play really a lot of annoying 1/1s that can block easily the Ponza creatures, except Tramplers, of course. But like Chrysalis, Boarding Party, Generous Ant, they can also always be blocked by 1/1s.
Yeah, it makes sense. You know, I've said this before. So the spells in Pauper seem to be extremely powerful. The creatures, not so much. So when you have some sort of extra text attached to your creature, like trample, like flying, these are really key abilities in Pauper, being able to go over the top of the creatures on the other side or go literally trample over the top of them. That's an extra bit, a key bit of text on there. And then if you've got trample and reach, well, then you just double hat and you can block those flying creatures with evasion, or you can turn the tide on them and start turning your creatures sideways and trampling over. So we've only got 2 of those in the deck, though, 2 creatures with trample. At least I'm pretty sure it's just 2 unless this one's got anything. Okay, we got a third actually. We got a Colossal Dread Mask, which, by the way, can we talk about how good that is in this? So we can ramp into it. It's a 6-mana spell.
Yes.
You know, it generates a germ token that gives anything that we equip +6/+6 in trample. Great.
I think the strength of the card is it's an inevitability at some point, because other decks like Affinity, maybe they can remove your Tramplers and try to block the others while they set up a way to kill you. But Colossal Dread Mask is basically indestructible, and in mid game you always have 5 mana or 6 mana to re-equip. So
it turns your elves into 7/7 tramplers.
Also Scions, because you really play a lot of small useless creatures. But that card is just absurd, I think. It's a good 1 or 2 off. I wouldn't play the full playset, of course, because it's not as powerful as the other cards. But it's the card that seals the game, usually.
All right. We're drawing our opening hands here, 7 for both players currently, but doesn't look like we've got any mulligans going on. So we are going to be off to the races, starting with a mountain into a star. On the other side, we're going to go land into elf and go. And then we can find the top 8 deck lists. Yeah, they're going to be posted on the socials, I believe, after the top 8 finishes. So, you know, everybody at home can have a little look at what they need to be picking up or what MH3 has done to the format, and if you need to adapt your deck in any way.
By the way, I saw a message that we have 1K spectators, 1,000 spectators. So thank you. Thank you a lot.
I'm glad everybody's going to be, is loving the Pauper format as much as we are here in the room. As we see, Acid Moss is going to be cast. Of course, we do Utopia Sprawl onto our forest. We can then tap it for 2, untap it with the elf, generate another 2 mana. That's the 4 mana we need. Acid Moss, take out one of those mountains, go ramp ourselves. So next turn, we're going to have access to at least 6 mana. And that's where the sparks really start happening, right?
Yeah.
Fingers crossed after this round, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be having Gavin for Hay in the booth as well. So he'll be doing the finals. Make sure you've got any questions for him feel free to fire it to him. He's very open and honest when it comes to Pauper and what it takes and what cards they're looking at banning or what cards they're not going to ban or why they banned something or why they didn't ban something or how the panel works, etc. Also, extremely knowledgeable at the game that we're seeing right now. As we start seeing dinosaurs coming down, we finally whiffed. We finally whiffed with our 6/5 trampling reach, cascading creatures.
Also, the start from Goblin combo doesn't seem particularly explosive. Just 2 lands, start to...
Or 3 lands, they lost one of them.
Yeah, but 3 mountains, so some mana rocks. I don't know. We will see, I think. It depends on how many... unbeatable monsters Ponza has in hand.
Yeah, like now we've got to the later game. We've got the mana we need. That's great. But do we have a way to start casting multiple spells in one turn? So this is going to be 4 mana now. 5, 6, 7. No haste is coming down just yet. Also makes me think there's no cascaders, because if there was, potentially we could be going into a boarding pie.
Sure.
It makes me think that we've got a Chrysalis as we see that coming down. New MH3 card. 2 Eldrazi spawn tokens generated. This is one of the standout cards from the weekend for anybody joining in. Chrysalis has been absolutely amazing, not only in MH3 draft, but it turns out also in the Pauper format, just being able to generate a board on turn number 4, and then the turn after, your turn number 5, you can use the spawns for even more ramp to get down some of your big threats in the deck.
Yeah, now if Alderigi has the combo, it can kill.
Oh, so even though it's looking this good from the Ponza side, we think that Goblins can start winning as early as next turn.
Yeah, you can play Prospector, sacrifice the Oracle, play the Black Goblin, put Redeem, sacrifice the Goblin with the trigger on the stack, pay the red, play First Day of Class, combo off, add infinite mana, and then of course you need a payoff. But
How about a de-glamour?
sure.
Get that shuffled back in. It doesn't destroy. You get to shuffle it back into your deck. And why are we targeting the star in this instance?
I think because the star can cycle itself immediately, while the icon needs at least something to get destroyed.
Okay.
It's smart.
And also, I guess if we go infinite mana, colorless mana, is it? No,
No,
that's
it's
the other
red,
one. This
it's
is red mana.
Yeah.
It can filter it into something else if we need to. If we need to find any extra mana moving forward. So, pass the turn. Take a big breath. Hope for the best. Over if you are a Ponza fan right now, could just be dead this turn. 2 mana.
Okay.
Deadly Dispute. We're going to generate a treasure token, draw 2 cards, plus draw a card because the Ica Wellspring went to the graveyard. So a little bit of great value there.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Like this Goblin combo can kill through from nowhere. And it feels like they just have 7 cards in hand every time because they really play a lot of dispute effects.
All right, go to combat.
But did he even draw the card? Did he draw from the turn?
Yeah, they drew. It was fast. It was fast. We're going to turn these both sideways. Currently just 8 points of damage. Could be go up to 10, depending on how blocks happen. We're thinking, what are we thinking about here? We're thinking maybe there could be a block into like a Galvanic Blast or something like that to deal with creatures. Oh, we're getting in there with the elf. I love it. Every point can count, especially in a race like this when you could just be dying on the next turn.
I think if Alderic doesn't block, it might be dead to a bolt.
Well,
so I decided to block the big one.
Block
pretty
the
smart.
one without trample, right? Block the Chrysalis. So 7 damage is going to come across. We're going to go 2 cards deeper, generate another treasure token, but now access to 6, potentially 7 mana next turn. As you mentioned, could be dead out of nowhere. Would lightning bolts break up the combo if we have them in hand?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, they play bolt in Ponza. Someone asked in the chat. They play bolt in the sideboard.
4 copies of lightning bolt in the sideboard, and we imagine that they have come in. We haven't seen any yet. Of course, game 1 was, let's say, very one-sided. A lot of land destruction on the key turns.
It seems like he's holding up a card. So it looks like
if they're not playing their big threats or ramping out, what else would they be sat on in
it
hand?
might be either a land or maybe a bolt. Can be a bluff or can be.
I'm thinking it's got to be a lightning bolt or de-glamour, or as you say, it could be a land, but making our opponent think that it's lightning bolt. That it could be sitting in our hand right now, so they can't let our life total drop too low. Couldn't take that extra point, 4 points of damage there, etc. Very smart, because if we did take that, as you mentioned, down forward, we got onto 3 life and would be within lightning bolt range. All right, we're going to start off. It looks like combo time. So now all the creatures entering the battlefield get haste and +1/+1.
Yep.
Till end of turn.
Wait. Thinking. That's what the gesture, the Italian gesture says.
Oh, okay. Is that what it means? Okay, well, look, we're all learning together right now. So in Italian, when I put my hands out, that's what it's going to be.
I can translate gestures to language, to English.
Appreciate it. Look, that's why you're in the booth with me. You know what I mean? I need someone to carry me through this. Tell me all these little gestures that I'm not au fait with.
Yeah.
Now, 1 red mana. What is that? I have not seen that art. Is that an alternate art?
It's no. It's something Pilferer. So when it dies, you create a treasure. And it's basically a +1 mana when you have Prospector on the battlefield. Impulsive Pilferer, thank you, chat. Yeah. It's a very strong goblin.
Yeah, a 1-of in the deck.
Yeah. Because when you have infinite red mana, you can anchor it from the graveyard. And since when it dies, you create a treasure, you can basically filter a red, filter a green, a black.
All right, Prospector.
Yeah,
This is the next one.
That's what I expected.
Comes in course with +1/+1 counter. So what's the last card we're missing for this combo to fire off?
Yeah.
Is it a Putrid Goblin?
Oh, yes.
All right. Do we have it? We got 2 treasure tokens.
Even possibly 3 treasure token and that's it.
Pass the turn back, just making 2/2/2 blockers maybe. There's no way for us to win at instant speed on our opponent's turn, right?
No,
Not with this battlefield. Okay.
In general, I don't think there is any because you require you need the other creature, the black creature.
The Putrid Goblin.
Exactly.
All right. Combat.
I mean, it's not dead. Then again, it's just it goes to 1, right?
So Yeah, but if my opponent's got a lightning bolt, which we both think there's a lightning bolt hiding out here.
Might be.
Are we moments away from seeing Ponza reach the final and go up against Red Black Madness? Let's find out together. So sacrifice it. Generate, or is it? Well, it dies, so it makes a treasure token. Take 6, drop to 1.
Oh.
Doesn't look like a red card in hand. Doesn't look like any red cards in hand. Looks like land plus Utopia Sprawl. Okay, you're telling me there's a chance.
I also think that probably the Goblin Combo player has multiple copies of the first day of class in hand. Otherwise, you don't really land it on a developed turn.
You wouldn't cast it unless
Yeah.
you had a shot. Obviously, it does have learn as well, so we can go find. Here comes a. I think that's deadly. Oh no, that's an unearth.
Okay.
Unearth. Which goblin is that we're
A
turning?
Dark Dweller Oracle. The one that when you can sacrifice a creature to exile the top card.
Okay,
and you
so
may play that.
An engine.
Yes.
It's our engine. Got you.
It's it can be also a payoff.
So we're going to sacrifice itself. Exile top card. It's a swamp. And there's the handshake. And we are going to see Ponza moving to the finals, going up against Red Black midrange. They were just 1 card away from winning the game and taking it to the game match number 3. So that's, congratulations to that player. Making it to top 4. Not an easy feat when in a field of over 650 players battling it out. Making top 4, that's a pretty cool one. You get a really cool fancy playmat as well, which we've got here in front of us. Of course, all top 8 get this. This is made by RK Post. I'm going to just put that on screen for you all to have a little look at. That is the most RK Post playmat I've ever seen in my life. It's really cool. Yeah. But all our top 8 players will be getting one of them, and plus the people at PauperGeddon have the option of trying to pick one of them up from the stands if they need to. So I imagine we're going to be moments away. Now that one's finished, they're going to be turning around super quick to try and give everybody at home the finals. So from me, Will, from you, Pioganti, any last words?
Just I want to say hi to my league, to my Pauper league. So Lega Pauper, Bollate, Il Labirinto. Ciao, ciao. Grazie.
I think he said, I love Pauper. Will's the best co-commentator I've ever seen in my life. And good night is what I imagine he said. As Gavin for Hey walks in the room, ready to do the finals for you beautiful people at home. So on that one, we'll see you shortly. Good night.